When a music group transitions from performing artists to key architects of an entertainment empire, the structure of global pop music fundamentally shifts. Over the past decade, BTS transformed from a rookie hip-hop ensemble into a worldwide cultural phenomenon, consistently pushing the boundaries of artistic autonomy within the K-pop industry. Now, their relationship with Hybe has evolved into a new phase. Creative control is moving beyond informal contribution and into defined organizational leadership, spanning choreography, visual media, aesthetic branding, and executive music production. Each member's specialized focus represents a deliberate alignment between their documented talents and the group's long-term infrastructure. But as these roles formalize their authority behind the scenes, how does this redistribution of creative power reshape the future for the 7 members and the global music industry watching them? Number 7. Jimin. The main dancer is now the choreography creative director. When evaluating the physical language of modern K-pop performance, few figures have reshaped the standard of live execution quite like Park Jimin. Long recognized as one of BTS's main dancers alongside J-Hope, Jimin's evolution into the formal role of choreography creative director is less of a sudden shift and more of an inevitable recognition of his technical lineage. To understand why this strategic appointment makes sense from both an artistic and operational perspective, one must look at the foundational training that set Jimin apart long before he ever stepped onto a global concert stage. Born in Busan, South Korea, Jimin's early artistic development was grounded in rigorous classical and modern dance disciplines. Attending the Busan High School of Arts, he achieved top marks in the modern dance department, a rare feat for an aspiring pop idol. Unlike trainees whose dance background consists strictly of commercial hip-hop or studio popping, Jimin spent his formative years mastering the spatial dynamics, fluid line extensions, and core weight shifts characteristic of contemporary dance. Modern dance relies heavily on floor work, tension control, and emotional narrative conveyed through momentum rather than isolated hits. When combined with his later training in street styles and popping, this background produced a hybrid performance style that became a defining visual marker for BTS. In the context of group performance, Jimin's physical execution has consistently functioned as a narrative bridge. In routines such as I Need You, Run, and Blood, Sweat, and Tears, his movement choices brought an organic fluidity to choreographies that were otherwise built around tight, sharp synchronicity. His 2016 solo track, Lie, showcased a level of physical theater rarely attempted in mainstream pop. Blindfolded maneuvers, complex balance shifts, and explosive leaps executed with absolute control over landing mechanics. Later, in the performance for Black Swan, a track deeply rooted in the theme of an artist's fear of losing passion, Jimin executed barefoot contemporary choreography that demanded precise core balance and seamless transitions between high-tempo acrobatics and subtle, suspension-based gestures. His solo releases further demonstrated his capability to direct large-scale movement concepts. With his debut solo album, Face, in 2023, particularly the pre-release track, Set Me Free Part 2, Jimin led a massive ensemble of dozens of contemporary dancers. The choreography required intricate group formations, canon timing, and physical interactions where Jimin acted as both the focal point and conductor of the collective movement. Managing such complex staging demanded an acute awareness of camera angles, lighting dynamics, and dancer pacing. This was reinforced during his Muse era in 2024 with Like Crazy, where he navigated intricate partner choreography and dynamic floor work that blended commercial pop sensibilities with intimate contemporary staging. However, being a world-class performer does not automatically equate to being an effective director. The transition to choreography creative director requires spatial intelligence, administrative coordination, and an acute understanding of group dynamics. Jimin's track record demonstrates that he possesses these requisite skills. During rehearsals, he has long served as a key quality control monitor for the group, analyzing detail work, synchronization, and spacing. In 2020, when BTS self-produced their studio album B, Jimin took on the role of project manager. In that capacity, he coordinated creative communication between the 7 members and label executives, organizing ideas, managing deadlines, and ensuring that individual inputs aligned with the overall vision of the project. That experience proved his capacity to step outside the role of an isolated performer and manage high-level creative workflows. As choreography creative director, Jimin's responsibilities expand significantly beyond polishing existing routines. A director in this capacity oversees the macro-level visual structure of performances. This includes conceptualizing movement motifs for new music releases, designing stage blocking for massive stadium tours, and selecting external choreographers to collaborate with the group. Throughout BTS's career, the group has worked with renowned global choreographers including Keon Madrid, Quickstyle, Sienna Lalau, and Sergio Reyes. A crucial aspect of Jimin's new directorial role involves translating these outside concepts into routines that respect the individual body mechanics of all 7 members. Every dancer possesses different physical proportions, stamina thresholds, and movement habits. A creative director must know how to adapt a uniform routine so that it looks cohesive without straining the performers. Furthermore, Jimin's directorial reach carries implications for Hybe as a multi-label enterprise, with numerous sub-labels operating under the corporate banner, such as Big Hit Music, Pledis Entertainment, Source Music, and Bellift Lab. The demand for high-concept, distinct performance identities across diverse groups is immense. Jimin's deep understanding of physical storytelling positions him to advise or consult on performance direction for junior artists under the label, establishing a continuous standard of movement performance within the company's roster. His insight into live camera blocking, knowing how movement translates across broadcast lenses versus live stadium seats, is an asset built on a decade of headline performance experience. This appointment also signals a larger shift in the K-pop industry's structural power balance. Historically, talent agencies relied exclusively on in-house or contracted choreography teams to dictate every step performed by idols. By formally placing a core group member in charge of performance direction, Hybe is reinforcing a model of artistic self-determination. Jimin is not simply performing a piece designed by someone else. He is architecting the visual vocabulary of the performance from its inception. Whether structuring complex group formations or fine-tuning the subtle tilt of a head that catches a spot camera, his influence ensures that every routine remains authentic to the group's narrative. In addition to technical choreography, Jimin's role involves working closely with lighting technicians, stage engineers, and costume designers to ensure that physical movement interacts seamlessly with environmental effects. A leap or drop loses impact if the lighting cue is delayed by a fraction of a second, or if a wardrobe choice restricts necessary range of motion. Having spent over 10 years executing routines under stadium lighting and high-speed multi-camera setups, Jimin possesses a practical understanding of how physical movement reads across digital screens and live venues alike. His appointment guarantees that stage productions are built around the reality of physical execution rather than abstract visual ideas. Ultimately, Jimin stepping into the position of choreography creative director reflects a natural progression from master performer to master architect. His career has proven that dance is not merely a sequence of counted movements, but a sophisticated language of human emotion and physical precision. As he takes full command of stage design and performance concepts, fans and industry analysts alike can expect BTS's live presentations to reach new levels of structural and emotional complexity. Yet, while movement builds the physical frame of a group's presence on stage, the visual storytelling that captures those moments on screen requires a completely different creative lens, which brings us directly to the next member taking on an unexpected producer role. Number 6. Jin. Worldwide Handsome is officially the visual and content producer. To the casual observer, Kim Seok-jin has spent over a decade as the striking, front-facing anchor of BTS, famously coining the self-assured moniker Worldwide Handsome. However, viewing Jin merely as the group's visual focal point ignores the deep academic and technical foundation that underpins his career. Before he ever recorded a vocal track or performed on a stadium stage, Jin was an acting student at Konkuk University's prestigious Department of Film and Visual Arts. His formal education in cinematic storytelling, character framing, and visual aesthetics makes his appointment as BTS's visual and content producer not a random career pivot, but a logical application of his professional training. Entering big hit entertainment after being scouted on his way to class, Jin approached pop stardom through the lens of a drama student. Film school curriculum focuses heavily on composition, narrative pacing, lighting architecture, and emotional delivery within a recorded frame. While performance training in K-pop emphasizes dance execution and vocal control, Jin's academic background gave him an innate grasp of visual grammar, understanding how an audience perceives color theory, camera placement, and thematic contrast. Throughout BTS's rise, these skills subtly influenced how the group presented itself on screen, allowing Jin to evaluate content from both a perspective of an actor in front of the lens and a filmmaker behind it. The operational reality of Jin's visual leadership was first formally demonstrated during the production of BTS's 2020 studio album, BE. Operating under a decentralized structure where each member assumed a specific executive role, Jin stepped up as the album's visual coordinator. In this position, he was directly responsible for designing the concept photos and overall aesthetic atmosphere of the physical release. Jin conceptualized individual room setups for each member, selecting furniture, lighting hues, and wardrobe pieces that reflected their individual personalities while maintaining a cohesive group palette. The resulting imagery was praised for its intimacy and restraint, demonstrating Jin's ability to manage complex creative briefs, negotiate with set designers, and execute a polished visual campaign under strict commercial deadlines. Beyond static photography and album artwork, content production in modern entertainment requires a masterclass understanding of audience engagement and comedic timing. Over more than 150 episodes of BTS's flagship variety show, Run BTS, Jin emerged as an uncredited narrative driver. Variety production relies on dynamic pacing, situational improvisation, and keeping viewers invested across long formats. Jin consistently used his sharp wit, high-energy reactions, and willingness to subvert his own polished image to create high-value entertainment. This intuitive understanding of variety structure proved that he knew exactly what made content work on an algorithmic and human level. His hands-on creative instinct was further validated by the global success of his solo endeavors. In 2021, Jin conceptualized and released Super Tuna, a lighthearted, trot-infused pop track, accompanied by a lighthearted, low-budget performance video filmed on a beach. What started as a fun, spontaneous passion project rapidly transformed into a global viral phenomenon, spawning millions of dance challenges across TikTok and YouTube. Jin designed the song's simple yet memorable visual identity, proving that an effective content producer does not always require millions of dollars in visual effects. They require a clear, relatable concept that resonates with human emotion. When Jin prepared for his solo single, The Astronaut, in 2022, prior to his military service, he took his content production capabilities a step further by creating Wootio, an animated astronaut character designed to bridge the gap between himself and the fans during his absence. Jin directed the character's narrative lore, social media release schedule, and merchandise integration, creating a fully realized multi-platform promotional universe. Following his discharge in 2024, Jin immediately launched Run Jin, a solo variety series where he assumed full executive and creative involvement, navigating diverse challenges from hiking to intense physical games. The series demonstrated his ability to outline video concepts, oversee edit structures, and maintain high production standards. As visual and content producer, Jin's appointment in Hybe encompasses a wide range of creative and operational responsibilities. He oversees the aesthetic continuity of BTS's media output, working directly alongside art directors, cinematographers, and digital strategy teams. This includes evaluating storyboards for upcoming music videos, approving color grading profiles, selecting jacket shoot locations, and determining the overall visual direction of documentary releases. Rather than leaving the group's visual identity entirely in the hands of external creative agencies, Jin serves as an internal filter, ensuring that every piece of media aligns with BTS's established brand identity while continuing to push aesthetic boundaries. Moreover, Jin's role extends into the domain of variety and short-form digital content. In the modern music landscape, an artist's digital footprint is just as vital as their recorded music. Jin oversees the development of new web series, behind-the-scenes vlogs, and interactive digital experiences. His objective is to maintain a balance between high-production cinematic projects and authentic, unscripted content. By applying his knowledge of film theory and comedy structure, he ensures that BTS's digital media remains visually captivating, emotionally resonant, and structurally sound. Furthermore, Jin's appointment bridges the gap between executive planning and artist comfort. Having spent over a decade in front of high-definition cameras, Jin understands the physical toll and technical friction that occurs on set. He knows how long a photo shoot should realistically take, how lighting setups affect performer energy, and how to create an environment where the members feel natural on camera. This practical experience allows him to streamline production workflows, eliminating unnecessary downtime during high-stakes video shoots and maximizing the quality of the final cut. In summary, Kim Seok Jin's appointment as visual and content producer represents the culmination of a decade spent studying the intersection of film, television, and pop culture. He has proven that visual elegance is not merely an innate physical trait, but a discipline requiring sharp observation, strategic concept building, and meticulous execution. Under his guidance, BTS's visual media continues to be grounded in artistic intention and narrative clarity. Yet while visual media defines how a group looks to the world, the core identity of any musical act ultimately rests in the sound studio, setting the stage for a truly surprising shift in who now controls BTS's musical direction.
Number 5. Jungkook. The Golden Maknae secures an unexpected role. When BTS debuted in 2013, Jungkook was just 15 years old, standing in front of television studio cameras as the group's youngest member, main vocalist, and center. His potential was obvious, yet his long-term trajectory remained unwritten. Leader RM famously coined the moniker Golden Maknae, a testament to Jungkook's uncanny ability to master virtually any physical or artistic skill he attempted, from athletic sprinting to breakdancing and high-register vocal delivery. However, few industry observers expected that the quiet teen, who spent his early years focusing strictly on vocal execution, would eventually step up to command the overall musical and sonic direction of the world's biggest group, as music and production director. Jungkook's journey into music production was not defined by formal conservatory degrees, but by an aggressive, self-directed work ethic. In the mid-2010s, he established his own workspace within the company, dubbed Golden Closet Studio. There, during late-night studio sessions between grueling tour schedules, Jungkook systematically taught himself digital audio workstations, or DAWs, MIDI programming, synthesis, and vocal arrangement. Rather than relying solely on senior producers, he began constructing his own instrumentals, experimenting with beat structures, polyrhythms, and complex vocal harmonies. This period of quiet experimentation laid the foundation for a transition from a singer who interprets songs to an engineer who builds them. His technical growth became public as he earned formal writing and producing credits on BTS's discography. In 2018, Jungkook produced Magic Shop, a synth prop track on the record-breaking Love Yourself Tear album. The song featured layered vocal harmonies, dynamic bass transitions, and a melodic structure designed specifically to highlight the emotional range of the group's vocal line. Later, in 2020, he released Still With You, a solo R&B track featuring sophisticated jazz chords, subtle brass lines, and ambient rain soundscapes that he arranged and mixed himself. That same year, his composition Your Eyes Tell was selected as the main theme song for the Japanese film Your Eyes Tell, demonstrating his ability to write cinematic, emotionally expansive melodies that appealed across global markets. Beyond audio production, Jungkook's technical curiosity extended into visual media under his Golden Closet Film brand, GCF. Traveling with a camera setup, he filmed, color-graded, and edited travel vlogs and behind-the-scenes documentaries for BTS, editing them precisely to custom audio beats. This multimedia competency peaked in late 2020 when Jungkook was named the official music video director for BTS's Billboard Hot 100 #1 single, Life Goes On. Directing a major label music video during a global pandemic required managing camera crews, lighting setups, location permits, and post-production edit schedules. The result was an intimate, authentic visual story that perfectly mirrored the track's acoustic warmth, solidifying his reputation as a capable director who understood how sound and visual storytelling intersect. The true scope of Jungkook's studio expertise reached an international standard during the creation of his 2023 debut solo album, Golden. Recorded in top studios across Seoul and Los Angeles, the album yielded massive global hits, including 7, 3D, and Standing Next to You. Working alongside Grammy-winning producers such as Andrew Watt, Circuit, Blood Pop, and David Stewart, Jungkook impressed seasoned industry veterans with his technical precision in the recording booth. Andrew Watt publicly highlighted Jungkook's extraordinary vocal stamina and studio technique, noting that he recorded intricate 20-track vocal stacks, harmony layers, and dynamic ad-libs in single takes with perfect pitch and microtonal accuracy. Producers noted that Jungkook did not simply follow directions, he possessed an intuitive understanding of vocal production mechanics, microphone distance control, chest-to-head voice transitions, and breath management. He understood how a vocal track sits inside a dense mix against heavy bass lines or orchestral arrangements. This level of studio competence proved that he possessed the trained ear necessary to evaluate, critique, and shape complex musical arrangements for multi-member tracks. As music and production director for BTS, Jungkook's role moves beyond individual song contributions into high-level sonic leadership. In this executive capacity, he oversees the overall soundscape of BTS's upcoming musical projects. This entails reviewing submitted demo tracks from global songwriters, determining key signatures and tempo structures, overseeing vocal track stacking for all 7 members, and managing the final mixing and mastering phases. A critical element of his role is ensuring that BTS's recorded audio translates seamlessly into massive live stadium environments, adjusting sound balances, vocal EQ curves, and instrumental backing tracks to maintain clarity across diverse acoustics. Furthermore, Jungkook acts as a crucial bridge between external music producers and the members themselves. Because he understands both the technical language of studio sound engineers and the physical experience of being on stage, he can communicate complex production notes to outside songwriters and mixers, while keeping the group's vocal authenticity intact. He ensures that every member's vocal timbre, from Jin's crisp belt to V's warm baritone, Jimin's high tenor, and the rap line's distinct cadences, is positioned effectively within the harmonic spectrum of each track. This appointment marks a profound evolution in K-pop's traditional structure. Typically, music direction from major groups is handled by veteran corporate executives or third-party executive producers. Formally assigning this authority to Jungkook guarantees that BTS's sound remains rooted in the genuine artistic growth of its members. The former quiet maknae has grown into a master sound architect, capable of guiding the acoustic identity of an international music icon. Yet, while sound provides the emotional engine of pop music, a group's visual universe requires an equally distinct creative vision, setting up our next member who turns album concepts into high art.
Number 4, Taehyung. The unique icon is officially the art and aesthetics director. In the world of contemporary pop music, visual branding is often treated as a secondary byproduct of audio production. However, for Kim Taehyung, known globally as V, visual presentation has always been an equal partner to musical expression. Long admired for his striking features, eclectic fashion sense, and passion for fine arts, Taehyung's official appointment as BTS's art and aesthetics director formalizes a role he has quietly filled for years. His unique ability to fuse classic fine art traditions with modern luxury fashion makes him uniquely qualified to shape the visual universe of one of the world's most influential cultural acts. To understand Taehyung's artistic compass, one must examine his personal creative pursuits outside the standard idol framework. Early in BTS's career, Taehyung developed a deep passion for film photography, sharing his black and white landscape and portrait work under the pseudonym Vanti, a homage to Australian minimalist photographer Anti Badzim. Unlike digital photography, film requires a precise understanding of natural light exposure, grain structure, shadows, and framing symmetry. His love for film photography was matched by an obsession with mid-century jazz, classical symphonies, and visual art history, frequently visiting prominent art museums such as the Louvre in Paris, MoMA in New York, and the Musée d'Orsay to study Impressionist masters like Claude Monet and Vincent van Gogh. This fine art sensibility was first brought to bear on a corporate scale during the production of BTS's 2020 studio album B. Formally assigned as the project's visual director, Taehyung spearheaded the creative design of the album's concept photos and physical packaging. He established the underlying thematic direction, instructing each member to curate a physical room set that mirrored their internal world. Taehyung's own curated room featured a symmetrical arrangement of classical violins, lush red velvet drapery, and warm, muted lighting. The design was praised by art critics for its sophisticated spatial balance and moody color palette, proving that Taehyung possessed the vision required to translate abstract personal identity into tangible, commercial set design. Taehyung took his aesthetic leadership even further during the release of his 2023 solo debut album, Layover. Demonstrating a clear vision for how his music should look and feel, Taehyung personally reached out to Min Hee-jin, the renowned creative director behind New Jeans and former SM Entertainment visual strategist. Together, they constructed a cohesive aesthetic campaign built around raw, analog nostalgia. The Layover visual rollout bypassed hyper-polished digital CGI in favor of natural light film photography, vintage cassette tape packaging, retro typographic layouts, and intimate domestic settings featuring his beloved Pomeranian, Yeontan. The project demonstrated Taehyung's mastery of visual restraint, proving that elegance often comes from stripping away artificial sheen to reveal organic, timeless textures. Taehyung's authority in visual aesthetics is equally anchored in his standing within the global high fashion industry. Formally named a global brand ambassador for French luxury fashion house Celine under designer Hedi Slimane, as well as the high jewelry house Cartier, Taehyung has repeatedly demonstrated an ability to blend vintage tailored silhouettes with contemporary haute couture. His personal style, characterized by wide-leg trousers, structured blazers, silk scarves, painterly patterns, and retro accessories, has redefined male fashion standards in pop culture. Designers and fashion editors frequently highlight his intuitive grasp of garment drape, color blocking, and accessory pairing. As art and aesthetics director, Taehyung's operational domain extends across all visual touchpoints of BTS's brand. He is responsible for establishing the overarching aesthetic direction for upcoming album releases, which includes selecting lead art photographers, graphic designers, and typographers. His work involves creating comprehensive visual Bibles for each era, defining the color swatches, photographic grain profiles, and graphic motifs that will govern everything from physical vinyl packaging to digital streaming banners. Beyond static album covers, Taehyung's directorial mandate covers stage and prop design for live stadium tours. Concert design at the stadium level requires an acute understanding of how scale, environmental lighting, and physical set pieces interact under broadcast lenses and massive LED screens. Taehyung collaborates directly with lighting technicians and scenic designers to ensure that stage layouts reflect the atmospheric mood of the set list. Whether selecting vintage furniture for an acoustic segment or designing minimalist geometric backdrops for high-energy tracks, his influence ensures that every frame captured on concert screens looks like a framed museum photograph. Furthermore, Taehyung oversees the curation of BTS's merchandise line and fashion partnerships. Historically, band merchandise was limited to basic screen-printed logos on standard apparel. Under Taehyung's direction, merchandise design shifts toward wearable high art and collectible design objects. He ensures that clothing cuts, fabric weights, typography, and graphic prints meet the standards of high-end streetwear and luxury lifestyle brands. By establishing strict aesthetic control over commercial products, he elevates standard tour merchandise into sought-after design items. Taehyung's new title marks a pivotal moment where pop culture intentionally meets classical artistic philosophy. Rather than delegating visual identity to corporate marketing departments, Hybe has empowered an artist whose life is immersed in painting, photography, and fashion history. Taehyung does not view visual design as mere decoration. He treats it as a vital storytelling medium that gives physical form to sound. Through his direction, BTS's aesthetic universe remains sophisticated, distinctive, and deeply poetic. But while aesthetics define the look and sound defines the audio, a group of this magnitude requires an overarching philosophical mind to hold it all together, leading directly to the leader's ultimate title evolution. Number 3, RM. The leader levels up to Chief Creative Officer. When Big Hit Entertainment founder Bang Si-hyuk set out to create BTS in 2010, the entire project was anchored around a single teenage underground rapper named Kim Namjoon. Known then as Runch Randa and later as Rap Monster, Namjoon possessed an intellectual intensity and lyrical sophistication that convinced executives to build an entire group around his vision. 15 years later, having guided BTS through an unprecedented ascent from an obscure indie agency to global stadium headliners, RM's appointment as Chief Creative Officer, CCO, is the ultimate formalization of his role as the group's architectural mastermind. To understand why RM's appointment to CCO is so fitting, one must analyze the intellectual rigor he has brought to pop music. Academically gifted from an early age, testing in the top 1% of South Korea's national university entrance exams with an IQ of 148, RM taught himself fluent English by watching American television series and reading literature. Rather than viewing pop music as simple commercial entertainment, RM approached discography creation like literary composition. From the beginning, he insisted that BTS's music address authentic societal pressures, mental health struggles, youth anxieties, and philosophical self-discovery, setting a new standard for narrative depth in K-pop. Throughout BTS's career, RM served as the primary conceptual architect behind the group's most iconic album series. In 2015, he helped frame the most beautiful moment in life, HYYH, era, turning youth transition into a cinematic narrative universe. For the 2016 studio album Wings, RM integrated themes from Hermann Hesse's classic novel Damien, constructing a high-concept narrative exploring dualities of good and evil, temptation, and artistic awakening. Later, for the Map of the Soul album series, he drew directly from Dr. Murray Stein's psychoanalytic text Jung's Map of the Soul, structuring tracklists around Carl Jung's psychological archetypes, persona, shadow, and ego. With over 220 registered songs credited to his name on the Korea Music Copyright Association, KOMCA, RM stands as one of the most prolific and influential songwriters in modern Korean history. His leadership capacity extends far beyond studio lyrics into global cultural diplomacy. In September 2018, RM delivered a historic 6-minute address at the United Nations General Assembly in New York to launch UNICEF's Generation Unlimited campaign. His Speak Yourself speech urged millions of young people worldwide to embrace their identity regardless of gender, race, or background. In 2022, RM led the group to the White House, meeting with the President of the United States to address anti-Asian hate crimes and cultural inclusion. In every international forum, RM's articulate, measured rhetoric transformed BTS from pop idols into global ambassadors, proving his ability to communicate complex philosophical ideas with absolute clarity on the world's most demanding stages. As an individual artist and art patron, RM's creative leadership has consistently bridged contemporary art and music. His 2022 solo album Indigo was constructed as an audio gallery, curated around his personal reflections on youth and fame. The album featured physical cover artwork by the late Korean monochrome painter Yoon Hyung-kun, whose artistic philosophy deeply influences RM's aesthetic worldview. The project brought together legendary global artists across genres, including Erykah Badu, Anderson .Paak, Tableau, and Park Ji-yoon. In 2024, his critically acclaimed second solo album Right Place, Wrong Person showcased a daring foray into alternative, indie art rock sounds and experimental visual direction, demonstrating that his creative appetite extends far beyond commercial radio formulas. In his executive role as Chief Creative Officer, RM assumes supreme oversight of BTS's macro creative strategy, while individual members manage specialized departments such as dance, visual media, aesthetics, and sound engineering. RM acts as the central executive who unifies these distinct pillars into a cohesive narrative vision. He determines the long-term thematic arcs for multi-year album cycles, approves overarching lyric concepts, and establishes the core philosophical thesis of each era. Nothing enters the group's creative pipeline without passing through RM's conceptual filter. Furthermore, the CCO position grants RM the authority to shape Hybe's high-level creative partnerships, documentary storytelling, and global publishing initiatives. He ensures that BTS's commercial expansions, whether book publications like Beyond the Story, fine art exhibitions, or strategic educational collaborations, remain faithful to the group's intellectual integrity. Acting as a bridge between corporate executives, creative directors, and the performing members, RM maintains the delicate balance between commercial viability and authentic artistic purpose. RM's appointment as Chief Creative Officer reinforces a fundamental truth about BTS's longevity. Their success was never an accident of marketing, but the result of deliberate, high-level intellectual strategy. Under RM's guidance, BTS evolved from a hip-hop crew into a living artistic institution whose works are dissected in academic university courses and museum halls worldwide. He remains the philosophical heartbeat of the group, translating complex human experiences into universal anthems. But while the Chief Creative Officer sets the philosophical framework, executing the raw sonic engineering of every track requires a master producer who has lived behind a mixing console for decades, bringing us to the legendary beatmaker taking charge of music production. Number 2. Suga. The genius producer is officially head of music production. Long before Min Youngi performed in front of tens of thousands of fans in sold-out stadiums, he was a teenager sitting in a cramped basement studio in Daegu, South Korea. Operating under the underground moniker Gloss, as part of the hip-hop crew D-Town, Youngi spent his youth arranging MIDI tracks, editing audio files, and selling beats just to cover basic living expenses and bus fare. When he auditioned for Big Hit Entertainment's Hit It competition in 2010, his intention was not primarily to become a mainstream pop idol, but to work behind the scenes as a composer and record producer. Today, his appointment as head of music production for BTS projects is the ultimate validation of a career built on studio discipline, technical audio mastery, and hit-making instinct. Youngi's transition from a studio technician to a global hitmaker is physically anchored in his private studio, universally known to fans as Genius Lab. Equipped with high-end digital audio workstations, analog synthesizers, hardware samplers, and precision studio monitors, Genius Lab has served as the birthplace for some of BTS's most musically sophisticated compositions. Tracks like Tomorrow and Let Me Know highlighted his ability to weave somber piano chords with heavy hip-hop drum kits, while Autumn Leaves demonstrated his mastery of atmospheric sample chops and vocal pitching. Later, his solo track, Trivia, Sisa on Love Yourself, Answer revealed his versatility, blending disco-funk bass lines with smooth R&B arrangements. His high-volume output of chart-topping hits earned him full member status in the Korea Music Copyright Association, KOMCA, a distinction reserved for the top tier of music creators in South Korea. What sets Suga apart as a music producer is his ability to operate effortlessly outside the boundaries of BTS's group discography. In 2017, he produced the hit single Wine for R&B singer Saran, earning the prestigious Hot Trend Award at the Melon Music Awards, his first major industry accolade received strictly as an independent producer. His reputation as a master beatmaker quickly expanded internationally. He produced and featured on IU's 2020 smash hit, 8, collaborated with American singer Halsey on Suga's Interlude, worked with Max on Blueberry Eyes, and produced for Juice WRLD on the posthumous track, Girl of My Dreams. In 2022, Suga produced, co-wrote, and featured in Psy's explosive comeback single, That, creating a global pop phenomenon that dominated streaming charts and accumulated hundreds of millions of views worldwide. Parallel to his commercial pop production, Youngi created a distinct artistic identity through his alter ego, August D, combining DT for Daegu Town and Suga, spelled backward. August D served as an uninhibited outlet for raw hip-hop experimentation, aggressive lyricism, and complex sound design. Across his solo trilogy, comprising the 2016 mixtape August D, the 2020 release D2, and the 2023 studio album D-Day, he pushed the boundaries of genre fusion. His track, Daechwita, famously sampled traditional Korean military court music, Daechwita, blending traditional double-reed taepyeongso horns and traditional percussion with modern trap bass lines. The song received worldwide critical acclaim for preserving Korean musical heritage within a contemporary global hip-hop framework. In 2023, Suga proved his studio production translates directly into massive live environments by launching the Suga August D Tour D-Day. Spanning 28 sold-out arena shows across North America and Asia, he became the first BTS member to complete a full solo world tour. Managing an arena tour required Suga to oversee live band instrumentation, audio mixing boards, acoustic balancing, and dynamic live arrangements. Performing solo for over 2 hours while directing the live audio balance confirmed his capacity to handle large-scale music production under immense real-time pressure. As head of music production, Suga assumes direct operational control over the audio engineering pipeline for BTS projects. While music and production director Jungkook guides the overall sonic vision and vocal stack arrangements, Suga commands the technical studio architecture. In this position, he oversees beat selection, sound design, synth programming, live instrument tracking, and drum mixing. He manages the entire production cycle from initial rough demo arrangement to final stereo and Dolby Atmos mastering. Suga ensures that every track meets the highest acoustic fidelity standards, maintaining a punchy, clear mix that hits with equal impact on high-end studio monitors, car audio systems, and smartphone earbuds. Furthermore, Suga's executive role involves mentoring and coordinating in-house producers, beatmakers, and sound engineers within HYB's vast network of sublabels. Having spent 15 years navigating the evolution of recording technology, from legacy analog boards to cutting-edge software plugins, he brings an unrivaled technical vocabulary to studio sessions. He can break down complex harmonic frequencies, compression ratios, and equalizer curves with surgical precision, ensuring that outside producers deliver tracks that align with BTS's technical standards. Min Young's appointment as head of music production is a testament to the power of relentless studio craft. From a struggling teenage beatmaker in Daegu to the executive commander of BTS's sound catalog, he has earned every bit of authority he holds over the mixing console. His ears have shaped the soundtrack of a generation, ensuring that BTS's music remains sonically powerful, innovative, and impeccably engineered. Yet, after defining the sound, the visuals, the art, the choreography, and the creative strategy, one ultimate spot remains: the single member tasked with commanding the ultimate live stage experience across the globe. Number 1. J-Hope. The Stage King is officially main director of performances and world tours. Taking the top spot in this structural evolution is a figure whose name has been synonymous with live performance excellence for over a decade, Young Hoseok, universally known as J-Hope. Long celebrated as BTS's main dancer and energetic stage anchor, J-Hope's official appointment as main director of performances and world tours is the ultimate recognition of his unmatched stage presence, organizational discipline, and live production instinct. While every member holds critical creative responsibilities, the live stadium tour remains the absolute peak of an international artist's career, and there is no one more qualified to command that stage than J-Hope. To understand why J-Hope sits at the pinnacle of live performance direction, one must trace his roots back to the underground street dance culture of Gwangju, South Korea. Performing as a core member of the street dance crew Neuron, Hoseok gained local fame winning national popping, locking, and hip-hop dance competitions long before entering big hit entertainment. Unlike performers who learn dance strictly through talent agency academies, J-Hope's foundation was built on street battles, freestyle improvisation, and raw crowd engagement. His deep mastery of rhythm, body isolation, and spatial dynamics made him the undeniable dance anchor around which BTS's physical execution was built. From the group's debut in 2013, J-Hope quietly operated as BTS's internal dance captain. During grueling 10 to 12-hour rehearsal sessions, he served as the bridge between external choreographers and the members. Known for his surgical attention to detail, J-Hope possessed an uncanny ability to spot even a millimeter of misalignment in group formations or a microsecond lag in footwork synchronization. Members have repeatedly attested that during practice, J-Hope's sharp gaze was more exacting than any camera lens. His leadership was never about assertion, but about an uncompromising dedication to performance perfection that elevated the entire group's live standard. His capacity to command massive live audiences on a global scale was definitively proven on July 31, 2022, when J-Hope made history at Lollapalooza in Chicago. Headlining the main stage before a crowd of over 105,000 spectators and millions watching via global livestream, he became the first South Korean artist to headline a major American music festival. Dubbed Hybe by media outlets, J-Hope delivered a masterclass 90-minute, 18-song solo performance featuring a live band and complex group choreography. Pushing through intense summer heat without losing vocal stability or movement accuracy, he demonstrated a level of stage endurance and audience control that astounded veteran American festival producers. This solo triumph built upon a solid foundation of artistic evolution demonstrated in his discography. His 2018 debut mixtape Hope World showcased a vibrant, uplifting sonic identity, while his 2022 studio album Jack in the Box revealed a darker, gritty 90s boom-bap hip-hop aesthetic. Tracks like More and Arson demonstrated his ability to construct high-concept performance art, blending theatrical staging with intense vocal delivery. Subsequent releases like his 2023 single On the Street featuring J. Cole and his 2024 street dance documentary series and album Hope on the Street Volume 1 further documented his lifelong commitment to honoring dance culture across global cities like New York, Osaka, and Paris. In his new capacity as main director of performances and world tours, J-Hope holds ultimate authority over the live concert experience for BTS. While Jimin directs choreography concepts and Suga manages live audio mixing, J-Hope oversees the macro execution of the tour. His responsibilities include designing concert set lists that maintain optimal emotional and physical pacing across 3-hour stadium shows. He determines where high-energy dance blocks transition into intimate acoustic sets, ensuring that member stamina is preserved without sacrificing performance intensity. Furthermore, J-Hope commands the technical integration of stadium production. He works directly with stage engineers, lighting designers, press officers, and visual projection teams to ensure that environmental effects hit with exact precision. A stadium show involving 60,000 spectators requires managing complex moving stage platforms, drone light shows, fireworks, and massive LED backdrops. J-Hope ensures that every technical element enhances the live performance rather than distracting from it, creating an immersive, multi-sensory environment for fans in every corner of the venue. Crucially, J-Hope oversees the coordination of backup dancers and stage crews worldwide. Managing dozens of professional dancers across international tour legs requires clear communication, spatial planning, and strict rehearsal schedules. Having spent his youth in dance crews, J-Hope understands how to motivate large groups of performers, establishing a unified energy that radiates from the stage to the back row of the highest stadium section. Ultimately, naming J-Hope as main director of performances and world tours acknowledges that a great concert is not just a sequence of songs, but a living, breathing spectacle of human connection. He has spent a lifetime mastering the art of the stage, transforming every performance into an unforgettable cultural event. Under his direct command, BTS's live tours will continue to set the global gold standard for stadium entertainment. And with all 7 member positions officially revealed, only one final summary remains to bring this extraordinary strategic transformation into perspective. There you have it. A comprehensive breakdown of the 7 structural positions that define the next era of BTS. From Jimin taking command as choreography creative director and Jin stepping up as visual and content producer, to Jungkook guiding sonic direction as music and production director, Taeyong architecting fine art and visual identity as art and aesthetics director, RM governing overall strategy as Chief Creative Officer, Suga leading studio engineering as Head of Music Production, and J-Hope taking the top position as Main Director of Performances and World Tours. What we are witnessing is not merely a redistribution of job titles, but the formalization of a self-sustaining creative ecosystem built by 7 artists who have spent over a decade mastering their respective crafts. For decades, the global music industry operated on a rigid top-down model. Record labels hired outside songwriters, talent agencies contracted third-party choreographers, and marketing executives dictated artist branding from glass boardrooms. Pop groups were frequently treated as transient performers, expected to execute someone else's vision before fading when commercial trends shifted. Hybe's decision to formalize executive authority directly within BTS completely upends this historical paradigm. By placing the core responsibilities of music production, visual design, stage performance, and strategic philosophy entirely in the hands of the 7 members, the agency is establishing an unprecedented model of artist self-governance. This structural transformation carries profound implications for the global entertainment landscape. When artists transition into executive directors of their own brand, the creative output changes fundamentally. Authenticity is no longer a corporate tagline crafted by a public relations firm. It becomes the direct result of the creators controlling every stage of the production pipeline. When you listen to an upcoming album, you are hearing tracks mixed under Suga's technical oversight and vocals stacked by Jungkook. When you watch a music video, you are viewing visual concepts curated by Jin and aesthetic color palettes approved by Taeyong. When you attend a stadium concert, you are stepping into a live physical experience built by Jimin's movement concepts, guided by RM's overarching philosophy, and executed under J-Hope's precise stage direction. The true strength of this organizational structure lies in its interconnected synergy. None of these 7 roles exist in isolation. RM's intellectual and thematic blueprints provide the narrative foundation that inspires Taehyung's art direction and Jin's media storytelling. Suga's studio beatcraft and audio engineering create the acoustic foundation over which Jungkook arranges complex vocal harmonies. In turn, those audio recordings provide the rhythmic canvas for Jimin to construct innovative choreography, while J-Hope integrates every element, sound, light, dance, and staging, into a seamless live production executed in front of tens of thousands of fans worldwide. It is a closed-loop system where creative vision and technical execution reinforce each other at every step. As BTS continues to evolve, this strategic alignment guarantees that their growth remains genuine, sustainable, and deeply rooted in their shared history. They are no longer simply navigating the music industry, they are actively shaping its future infrastructure. This shift proves that the true legacy of BTS extends far beyond record-breaking chart numbers, massive stadium attendances, or social media metrics. Their enduring legacy is built on proving that long-term artistic survival comes from continuous self-improvement, professional discipline, and taking total ownership of one's creative destiny. As this new chapter unfolds, the evolution of these 7 members offers a fascinating glimpse into the future of global music leadership and creative independence. Which of these newly formalized directorial roles do you believe will have the most profound impact on BTS's upcoming album releases and global world tours? Share your detailed thoughts and perspective in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth entertainment and music industry breakdowns. Until next time, thank you for watching.